Those guys were great, and we swing a little different direction now. Next, we're going to hear from Gary Emick, and those in the club here, of course, know Gary is our Traz Masters, and he's swum from Alcatraz well over 1,000 times. He's the guy, he's former swim commissioner, he's swimmer of the year here. And of course, he has quite a long swimming resume. We've been on, Dianna and I, have been on swim trek swims with them at different places, Greece, Italy, places like that. So the club, in their generosity, named a boat after Dianna. You can see it. So you can see it on the left there. They call it the Lady Di. Now, anybody that knows Dianna knows that she liked a deal or a sail almost more than any other thing in life, including some of the more intimate things. So when they called and said that they were going to be naming a boat after her, the very first words out of her mouth were, "Make sure they get it on sale." So, anyway, Gary?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's amazing when you sat cheek to jowl with somebody in a little Zodiac for the better part of the decade. You'd think you'd get to know them pretty intimately, but I really never heard this side of Dianna's theatrical side. So it was interesting to hear that. So Bill asked me to talk a little bit about Dianna and what is known as the Alcatraz Swimming Society. And if you ask any of the original members, I think you've come up with about 6 different versions of how we all formed. But I think the consensus is in early 2007, Steve Hurwitz, and maybe raise your hand, Steve, we were just trying to get to our first 500 crossings. And Alan back there manning the camera was just trying to get to 100 crossings. Christine Buckley right here, she could smell mayhem and misadventures from a mile away. And Joe Butler and Paul Saab, who's not here, they could also smell misadventures and mayhem from a mile away. But Dianna was developing an attitude of biblical proportions. What you're saying, our mild, meek, and unopinionated Dianna having an attitude? Well, she was. She felt like she was doing too much piloting of our sunriser morning swims and not getting in enough swimming of her own. So in the spirit of Scoop Nisker's famous quote, "If you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own," Dianna, in her own typical fashion, went out, grabbed the bull by the balls, and we started swimming Alcatraz every single Wednesday. And as anyone who's been a member of this club knows, it doesn't come without a price. There's a frequent dysfunction accompanied by a strong penchant for justice. And we failed to keep our morning Wednesday swims, low-key, below the radar, and we only occasionally invited others to come along. But we kept it a closed swim, not only because we could take turns piloting, but because the 7 of us also had the ability to stay together in a pod, which is really critical when you're swimming across the channel, the shipping channels, because of all this boat traffic. But in typical South End fashion, they called us selfish, they called us arrogant, they called us elitist Alcatraz holes. Known as the Alcatraz Secret Swimming Society, but over time the furor started to die down, and we tossed out the secret part of it, and we just became simply known as the Alcatraz Swimming Society, or as we like to say it, we were the asses. And we embraced ourselves as asses. We were proud to be asses, and Christine even designed ass patches to sew onto our partners to celebrate each and every Ass Wednesday. And there was a certain energy and synergy that developed, and with Dianna's flair for the outrageous and the theatrical, coupled with the brain-numbing water and the hypothermic boat rides back to the club, we spawned any number of very irreverent rituals. For example, in one of our less lucid moments, we thought it a brilliant idea to pass off a congratulatory Santeria red trident whenever anybody accomplished 666 Alcatraz. Then there was the goat mass, but you know what? That's a whole different story. On a kinder and more sentimental vein, nothing beats a birthday boat ride out to Alcatraz, and take a look at the little zodiacs when you go by, replete with rounds of happy birthday and birthday hats and the birthday blowers, and of course of happy birthday. And of course, because of Dianna's focus on pushing boundaries and ourselves, we all became better swimmers. And we tried to tally up between the 7 of us, the original members, how many Alcatraz crossings we have. And it's somewhere in excess of 5,600 Alcatraz crossings. I think deep down we relish these weekly aquatic urban adventures because the asses realize life is short and must be lived to the max. And every Wednesday, as we left the club and drove down the Embarcadero, and even today, as you drive down the Embarcadero, what you see are thousands of weary, half-asleep souls clutching their Starbucks and shuffling off to cubicles for a day just like yesterday and the year before, and for a day just like tomorrow and the year after. Yet at 8:30 in the morning, we had silliness, misadventure, wet frozen camaraderie, and most importantly, our lives put into perspective. So for that, Dianna, on behalf of, excuse me, on behalf of the original asses, the current asses, and all future asses, we thank you, we remember you, and we'll miss you greatly.